if you can guide us through how you learned about the CRM systems, or what was that journey like for you?
That journey, it's been a very interesting journey actually, because I had never really heard of CRMs and I had never done spreadsheets because I had never needed marketing. All of my business came by word of mouth, and I had plenty of business to keep me busy. In fact, more than I can handle at the moment with my processes and my systems, as good as they were. So I never had to market. When I transitioned from general construction into asset management, that was a different story. Nobody in the asset management world knows me. Nobody they don't know my reputation. They don't see me chest to chest on a daily basis. And so therein lied, okay, well now I need to start marketing, and with marketing means I need to keep track of everybody. And spreadsheets did not work. I tried that. And then very quickly I realized that did not work, and a CRM was the way to go. And I didn't find what I wanted, so I built my own.
Welcome back to the Wealth Wife Show. I'm your host, Loomba, and this is where we explore the strategies, mindsets, and systems that help you create, protect, and expand wealth, not just financially, but energetically and intentionally. If you ever felt overwhelmed by moving parts of running a business or building wealth, clients to track, deals to manage, opportunities slipping through the cracks, you're not alone. That's why today's conversation is so powerful. Our guest, George C. Knowlton III, has built his career hands-on and heart-led. He's a trainer, advisor, real estate inspector, and investor, and a general contractor committed to ethical design, clear communication, and lasting impact. And one of the ways he has been able to create sustainable success is by harnessing CRM systems and structured processes to stay aligned, organized, and scalable. So if you ever wonder how to keep all your wealth building activities on track, or how to design a system that works for you rather than against you, this episode is for you. So tune in. So welcome, George. I'm super excited to have you with me today.
Thank you, Vinky. That was a very nice welcome. I appreciate that.
Sure. And our topic for today is how to use CRM to build ethical, scalable success. So let's start with the origin of your story, George. Your bio describes your journey as hands-on, heart-led. Before we dive into systems, can you share how that approach shaped your path as an investor, contractor, and advisor now?
Absolutely. I have definitely been hands-on and heart-led my entire life, which means that I worked in my business, not on my business. And many entrepreneurs now, we know that that's not necessarily the best thing to do, but that's where I came from. And 40 years ago when I started my business, that was perfectly fine. And you could do very well, and you could scale your business that way, and you could get repeat business just by word of mouth. That has changed. And so I've had to pivot and move to CRMs and automated systems to make sure that I stay connected to my customers.
Yeah, I remember those spreadsheet days, right? So you like put everybody in the spreadsheet and manage that. A lot of manual processes right there. I'm glad you move on to CRM. So I think if you can guide us through how you learned about the CRM systems, or what was that journey like for you?
That journey, it's been a very interesting journey actually, because I had never really heard of CRMs and I had never done spreadsheets because I had never needed marketing. All of my business came by word of mouth, and I had plenty of business to keep me busy. In fact, more than I can handle at the moment with my processes and my systems, as good as they were. So I never had to market. When I transitioned from general construction into asset management, that was a different story. Nobody in the asset management world knows me. They don't know my reputation. They don't see me chest to chest on a daily basis. And so therein lied, okay, well now I need to start marketing, and with marketing means I need to keep track of everybody. And spreadsheets did not work. I tried that. And then very quickly I realized that did not work, and a CRM was the way to go. And I didn't find what I wanted, so I built my own. Simple
So
as
you
that.
built your own CRM. So what is a CRM? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Well, to me, CRM is a customer relations management system, is what it really is. And it keeps track of all of my customers, and it allows me to send emails to them and keep in constant contact with them and actually keep track of their birthdays and anniversaries and all those wonderful things that let them know that we care about them. And that I always did. And everybody that I saw, I said, happy anniversary. And I remembered, but I was not very good at getting it out. And so a CRM is great. And again, a CRM, though, takes a lot of work. And so I realized with the many businesses that I have, I don't have time to do even that part. And I didn't even have time to set it up. And so I built a business that actually does that for people. And it has a CRM with it, but it's actually an AI powered automated virtual assistants are filled inside of the system, inside of the boardroom. I call it the Now It's Done business operating system because it really just it gets the bottleneck out of the way, which was me, and might possibly be you. You don't know.
That's true. I know. That's the biggest hurdle. If you learn about that, if you get out of your way, I think then sky's the limit, or maybe you're limitless, the way whatever way you wanted to look at it. So, but when you started this CRM, what was involved or what was going on in your mindset?
Well, I had heard about all these different CRMs, HubSpot, Salesforce, Go High Level, and I started investigating all of the different types of CRMs and their cost per month, and then the learning curve to get all of my data input in them, and then the maintenance to do it. And it seemed very, very expensive. And then it seemed like I'm not even going to do well at this. Like I not only is it expensive, but I'm not going to do well at it. So so then I started looking for a system that could actually help me build the CRM, put everything into it. And I looked at companies, I looked at different things, and I really was dissatisfied everywhere I went, either by cost or there was some other friction that kept me from being able to do it. And so I just started building my own. And before I knew it, I came up with something that I could offer at a very reasonable price to everybody. And so I said, you know what? Let me just turn my solution into a business and give it to the world so that we can help everybody who's just like me, a small to medium business that needs to get themselves out of the bottleneck, right?
Wow. So let me ask you this question. I have seen in my life, in my experience, a lot of people, for example, entrepreneurs, investors, they try to wing it a lot of time, and there's just like nobody wants to take an extra step. I shouldn't say nobody, like most people, they are comfortable. So, but what made you realize that systems, especially CRM, were essential to scale wealth and impact in your area?
Well, this is something that has been, when you go through a little mindset courses, they ask you to find out what your superpower is. And I would say that my superpower over my career has been building systems, no matter where I've been, whether it was delivering newspapers as a teenager, managing franchise restaurants as a young entrepreneur, teenager, and young adult, and managing construction franchises. All of these things, I built systems with the highest technology available, right? And when I got into asset management, a CRM was an eye-opening to me. Oh my gosh, we have this technology available. And at the same time, I had started taking courses on artificial intelligence. And so those two things combined to really help me to create this system, because that's what I do is I create systems that are monetizable and to make my life easy.
Yeah, I think you have shared something really important here where you said systems. Systems are really important in every aspect of life. So let's break it down a little bit more. What is a system and why is important? I mean, why did you feel the need? Okay, I need to have the systems in place to scale whatever I'm doing. It's basically you're kind of copy pasting your blueprint at a larger level, right? So if you can.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, because there's often a deviation between the systems of our life and the systems of our businesses. And even from business to business, the systems are different. And
Exactly.
and correlating those are very, very important. And that is what a business system and now what AI has allowed us to do, is be able to get things done that aren't of our nature, right? It's not of my nature to reach out to people that I'm not seeing every day. But is that an absolute fundamental piece of staying connected to people? It is. Right? And do we all enjoy it? I loved it when my gram sent me something every month and let me know she was thinking of me. And so, even though I'm not good at this isn't of my nature. This is something that a system can put into my nature and can create benefit for me. And who knows, maybe it might just modify my own behavior, and I might do it on my own.
I kind of agree with you on that because I think all these technological tools, they are tools to kind of explore ourselves more, to learn more about our behaviors, because by the end of the day, they're going to give us the output, whatever our input is going to be. So if we are strategic with our input, if we exactly know what we are trying to achieve, and how we are inputting the information, um, accordingly, the output is going to be there. And then output is going to show us, it is a reflection of us by the end of the day, no more, no less. So I'm going to ask you here, can you share an example where having system in place allowed you to capture an opportunity or prevented a costly mistake?
Yes. So one of my in my construction career, I had a contract with Centex Homes, a long-standing contract. I did all of their homes in Northern California. And one of the
Mhm.
beautiful things of Centex Homes is that their entryway, every entryway has a beautiful curved stairway, or most of them have a curved stairway in the entryway for um, elegance when you walk in and for like the wow. And we built a system to be able to, it used to be that we would have to go and bend those rails in place on the stairway and then get them shaped, et cetera, et cetera. A very time consuming thing. And I developed a system in our factory where we bent those in the shop and we shaped them in the shop. And so it saved me about 8 hours, 9 hours per installation, which, we were doing a few hundred installations a year. So that was a considerable savings.
So just go there and put it there because it's kind of ready made, ready to go. You have kind of repeatable tasks already in place and the system in place to manufacture those, right?
That is correct. And systems allow you to create win-win scenarios. So in that system, it didn't just win for me, right? Before, Centex Homes had to wait and have that house tied up with a handrail being done for 3 days. And what I did was eliminate that and bring it down to 1 day, maybe 2 days. So Centex got a day or 2 days back in their construction schedule, which gives opportunity to beat their timelines. So, that is something that systems, if built correctly, are win-win.
Hmm. So the way I hear you or feel you, I feel like you look at your CRM system, you are very proud of that, obviously, as a wealth tool. So I know most people think of CRM just as a software. So how do you see it as a wealth building strategy rather than just a tech tool?
Well, because it's not just a CRM, right? And that would be selling our platform very short, because we have what we call inside of it the boardroom vault, or the business, or the now it's done business operating system, that
Mhm.
is not just a CRM. It's connected to the CRM so that it can actually connect and talk to all of your customers and yourself. But what it actually does is, like, we all know that the silver tsunami is coming, right? It's all coming. We have many, many business owners that I would describe as comfortable, that have their own processes in place, and they are the bottleneck in their business, right? And they may be doing $10 million a year, but actually their company could be making $20 million a year. And so I built the Now It's Done business operating system to literally go into these companies and help them innovate with AI and automated systems and refine their systems within the heart of their company so that they can scale and exit, right? Because that's what they're all looking for. We're looking for scaling, valuation, and an eventual exit. I mean, at least if I'm 70 years old and I've been running a business for 40 years, that's what I'm looking for. And so that's what I really think the power of the wealth building of this system is in the businesses that right now that are owned by our wonderful American citizens, that are 60 to 80 years old.
So can you share one example with us? Like, what does it look like from conception to completion? If a small business owner wanted to ride your bandwagon, or even any real estate operator or syndicator wanted to partner with you on your CRM system.
Mm-hmm. What it looks like is this: we bring you in. We have a few different entry levels that you can come in depending on the size of your company and your needs. And what we do is we come in and we assess where AI can best help you. That's the first thing that we do. And we call it an innovation lab, because what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to learn about your business. We're going to ask you to be a participant in it. And then we are going to build your boardroom around your company, and so that it serves your purposes. And we're going to give you the advice on where not to overspend. And this is something that I've learned the hard way, right? So I'm gonna part all the hard knocks that I've done with going to developers that say they can do something that they cannot do, or et cetera, et cetera. So these are the ways that's really what it looks like. And when you're done, you have a boardroom of AI powered employees that will help you manage your business and help you manage yourself. That's why I call it the boss, the now it's done boss, because it's even my boss. It tells me, gives me best practices that are fantastic to help integrate my AI employees with my human employees, because there has to be a human in the loop. AI only augments the performance of our people.
Interesting. And is there any room for error at the time? Because if it's such an automated process, and what I'm thinking is how accurate information is, or how accurate the analysis is for a business when you're doing through all these bots.
Well, we have our analysis is done by people like myself that have been in business for 40 plus years, right? Or at, different at different types of industries, right? So the analysis is not just an AI analysis. You have to have a human in the loop, right? So that's number one. Is the advisory in the lab is a collaboration between the business owner and us. And then when it comes down to accuracy, our system, we call it the boardroom vault, because number one, it's secure. There is no proprietary signature thing that you can't read about how we keep things secure. You can read about how we keep your information secure, open, very transparent. And then the other piece is that ChatGPT is, though we use it as part of our engine and we use all of those LLMs that everybody else is using, our differentiator is that we are in one place, one platform. All of your people are in one platform, and we put your company information in and your parameters. So no longer are we getting wrong answers. So the accuracy, I would say, is about 9 times better in our system than you're going to get in ChatGPT. ChatGPT last week, it gave me 4 wrong answers in a row. And I kept telling it this is the wrong answer, and it kept giving me the wrong answer, wrong answer, wrong answer. And then I had to go back and say, you gave me a different answer a week ago. So please go back and tell me, what's the difference? Why did it change today from a week ago, right? And until I really pressed it, it didn't give me the right answer. And in that is the summary that the human has to be in the loop. Because if I didn't know the right answer, I would have went and ran with the wrong answer if I would have just relied on ChatGPT.
Yeah,
So
you're 100% right about that. That's what we were talking earlier, whatever your input is accordingly, you're going to get the output from the GPT. It's just a machine, right? So it does not, and there's no human emotion attached, no, like I would call it more like sensitivity analysis, or like the human way of thinking for you. It's just going to be input in, and output is going to come based on that, whatever the prompt is going to be, whatever you're asking. So how you are differentiating that into your boardroom vault or the CRM that you have set up, because you said earlier that you're using some flavor of Chat GPT in there, and how you're fine tuning your systems, that you are acquiring the right information on training your AI assistants in a way so that is helpful for the people who are riding your bandwagon.
So That is a great question, Binky. That's a mouthful too. Let me tell you, I'll try and keep it really, really short, and I'll try and make it as simple as possible, and just like connecting the dots. And so, Chat GPT is nothing but a data source. If I could just put it as simply as that, it's nothing but a data source. And what we put behind that data source, we connect that data source to all of the checks and balances that I just talked about that I did in my head with the wrong question. We put a whole bunch of workflows behind that that are actually computer programs. They're SaaS, right? We put programs behind that to refine it so that I'm not having to sit there and tell the chat GPT it's wrong 4 times in a row and get it to give me the right answer to produce the thing that I'm supposed to, even though that's so much faster than me doing it myself, right? Even if I'm doing it, our agents are trained to actually do that for us. So they're bringing in the information, they're keeping it on the outside, and they're giving us the correct answer based upon our parameters, right? So that's why it's a collaborative, innovative lab, because we want to know what your heart is. Like I've built into every one of our agents the smile philosophy, right? Because I believe that that's what I want to push across the world. Safe, moral, inclusive, linguistic, and experiential. Every transaction should be like that for every stakeholder. If we can do that, that's a true win-win. And so every agent that we build has that built into them automatically. The smile philosophy is in there. And so they will let you know, even if you try to do something outside of the smile philosophy, they will tell you, it's okay, but, this doesn't match safe, it doesn't match linguistic, or it doesn't match inclusive. And that way we can make a determination. And these are the ways that, and of course, as a business, you can take that out if you want, right? But I just put it in intrinsically for the small businesses because I think it helps us to do good and to remember that win-win is what the solution is. It's not a win-lose. I take business from you and you take business from me. There's enough business for everybody.
I agree on that. Smile philosophy. So let's learn about that. What exactly is it and how did you come up with that? What's the story behind it, basically?
The story behind the smile philosophy was actually a quick pivot, is what it was. The smile philosophy was originally coined and founded for a indoor playground that I had conceptually designed, where latchkey kids could enter by way of eye scan or fingerprint. And once they entered, the parents could see the videos inside of the playground, so they would be in a safe environment. And then when they left, the parents would know, and then the parents could watch them on their phone, et cetera, et cetera. And, somebody stole my idea pretty fast, part of it. And so I just decided to pivot and move Smile Company into creating an entire circle of corporations that would serve as, I turned Smile Company into an asset management company so that actually eventually I can buy strip malls and I can put these indoor playgrounds in every one of them, because the world is going this way as our environment gets hotter and hotter. So that's how Smile Company came about. And working with youth most of my life, starting with coaching um, uh, the Special Olympics when I was young at 10 years old. I really believe in that whole thing: safe, moral, inclusive, linguistic, and experiential. And I think it's misinterpreted in so many ways. So I really believe that it needs to be pushed out across the world. And so that's what we're doing.
So it seems like it's very close to your heart. So what is this whole acronym for? SMILE is safe,
Moral,
moral,
inclusive,
inclusive,
linguistic,
linguistic,
experiential.
experiential.
Mhm.
Why? So is there any emotions attached to this, like each word, or is it like anything, a story? I mean, how did you come up with this acronym?
Well, I came up with it because each one of these pieces are important to have interpersonal play and to create championship teams, right? So I'm a coach of champions. I've had numerous championship teams, okay? And there's only one way to get there. There's a formula, right? And the space where everybody plays needs to be safe, right? It needs to be moral. It needs to be equal everywhere. And we see this in youth sports a lot where parents coach the kids and everybody knows it's not equal. And, it doesn't create champions, right, in the future, right? And so, and inclusive is the other piece that, in a lot of my teams, people didn't like that. I like to bring in diversity because diversity creates friction and friction creates growth and growth creates champions. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? And linguistic means we've got to learn how to talk to everybody. When I coach coaches, I tell them, you may start this year, your first year being a coach, and have one key on your ring. But at the end of this year, I hope that you're going to have as many rings on that, as many keys on that ring as you have kids that you're coaching, because each kid has a different key. And if you learn the keys, then you can take those keys into the following years. And pretty soon you're going to have hundreds of keys, and it won't matter what kid you're coaching. You're going to be able to be effective, right? Very, very important. And then experiential. Everything needs to be experiential for every stakeholder. So again, using youth sports as an analogy, we don't want that quote par player that's sitting on the sideline. I don't know how many times I watched the poor little kid that couldn't run or was uncoordinated not get put in the game until the game was so far out of reach that the team was being killed. And so the kid knew that he only played when they were either so far ahead that they couldn't lose or so far behind that they couldn't win. And that's not experiential for everybody. And so we can apply that to asset management. We can apply that to construction. Who do you squeeze? Do you squeeze your contractor to get profits? Do you squeeze your client? Or do you not squeeze anybody? Which do you do? Do you do better systems? So that's really where the smile philosophy is defined. And then I defined it in my books, Invest with a Smile, which is at investwithasmile.com. And that's all about applying the smile philosophy to innovating with AI and technology and asset management. It'll help you evaluate an operator or become the best one that you can be. It gives you lots of ideas in there. And I did a second book called Smile and Scale, the Wealthy and Healthy Approach to AI innovation, AI powered innovation in business. And that is all about integrating and innovating with AI with the Smile philosophy in your small to medium sized business. So if anybody wants more information, those are both available. And I think Smile and Scale is at smileandscale.info. So
Oh, I love it. So you're deeply committed to ethical design and clear communication. You're not just committed to it, but I think you are just like really, really living that, right? With those values in your business or in your investing world, in your asset management world, whatever you're trying to achieve. For listeners who do not know where to start, so what are the core pieces of CRM or system they should put in first in place?
got it. Got it. Yeah. So number one is you really want to start with the end in mind. So what is your goal? Start with your goal, go all the way to the end. What do you want your customer retention management, customer relation management, however you want to term it? What do you want it to do for you? Do you want it to monetize? Do you want it to create value? Do you want to send out emails? Do you want to create drip campaigns? Or do you just want to stay connected with your people? Or do you want them to be able to stay connected with you? Or do you just want simply a database of people that you can email? All of those things are going to make a difference on which CRM that you choose. Because there's CRMs all the way down to $97 a month or something like that. And they're all the way up to thousands of dollars a month. So once you know what the end is, then you can decide which one's going to fit you in your price range. And then I would say then you really need to decide, do you just need a CRM? Or do you need something along with it, like what we provide, like AI assistants to help you manage that CRM so that everything still gets done, right? So that your impact is very little. And then the one thing that I would caution against is DIY. Everybody wants to do it, because it saves them a dime. But I'm telling you from personal experience, if you do it yourself, it will take you forever to get it done, right? And so it is much better and a much better mitigation of risk to just bite the bullet and have somebody either do it with you or do it for you, right? And pick your poison.
So I know you mentioned something very good, DIY. A lot of people like to do it themselves, and especially if somebody's from the tech background, they think, "Oh, I know, I figured it out. I did multiple years. It's super easy. I can do it myself." So, in that quest, they might create a lot of mess for themselves. So
I would
I'm
say
gonna
tremendous.
go ahead.
I would say a tremendous amount of mess. Absolutely. And that is one of the reasons. I mean, it's not just a CRM. Inside of CRMs nowadays, like in our CRM, there's many, many built out workflows that you can build out that are automated from your answering agent to workflows after the answering agent and all of those things. And they're all dependent on what business you're in. So when you come into our CRM, you're going to get a snapshot that is going to add some pre-made workflows in there, right? And so you could DIY it, right? That's kind of our version of done with you, right? So we give you the workflow, but now you need to go input all of your company information and input all of the pertinent information, and then it'll actually function. Okay, that in itself takes a while to learn to do and to get done. And we want to put our time at our highest and best use. And so for me, I'm kind of savvy, kind of not savvy. It wasn't my highest and best use to do this for myself. Much better for me to pay somebody to actually do the part that I don't do well so that it can get done. And so even with the pre-made snapshots and workflows, I don't choose to do it myself. I have somebody else fill them out. I give them the information, I have them hold my hand, and we go through and we do it together. That way I don't get stuck and I get done.
So I know it's a follow-up question, but you kind of answered that, but still I wanted to ask you, what most common mess you have seen entrepreneurs or investors make with their organization or within their CRM system, and how or what advice would you give them to fix it? Basically, you're advising them to figure out the best system out there they can use and just, partner with somebody versus starting from the scratch, right? That's what exactly you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, you want to definitely partner with somebody. Probably the biggest mistake that I've seen, and it's happening quite often now, because some CRMs are offering you automated drip campaigns and all of these different things, right? Our company is not the only one offering you that. I believe our company is the only one offering true white glove onboarding. We're the only ones offering 6 weeks of training for you to make sure that you understand what you're doing before you do it. But one of the biggest mistakes that we see is people will start drip campaigns from their own emails, from their own domains, their own accounts. And as soon as it gets flagged from being automated, if you're not clicking the go every single time, or you email too many people in a week that you're not supposed to, then your email gets flagged, and once your domain gets flagged, it gets shut down. And now you have to change your whole email, everything. It messes the whole thing up. So there are systems that you have to do that are within the systems. And I would say it's you don't know what you don't know until you get hit with it, right? And then you get hit with it and you're like, I didn't, nobody, there was no warning that popped up about that. Nope, there's no warning. It just happens. So that's really the biggest mistake I've seen is over emailing or getting their domains or their emails locked for doing something against the rules.
Yeah, I agree on that because been there, done that multiple times. Because when we have the huge conferences, so I know how that bulk emailing works and how your domain gets blacklisted. That's the reason we have multiple backup domains when we do something at a larger scale.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like for example, our emails are scheduled out for maybe weeks, to go out in multiple tranches, not just like all at one time, not just to save time, but also keep our credibility in the market, not just getting blacklisted or anything. So you're right about that. So you need to have like systems in systems. And then when you have that kind of strategy, it just like we all know that systems just frees up the energy, the time, and that you could be more creative with that. So here I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
ask you this. How have CRMs and the structured processes allowed you to focus on more on growth, wealth building, maybe legacy, rather than just draining your energy or just when you're trying to manage everything on your own?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you that for me personally, what it's done is even though my CRMs are not 100% filled, because I've got multiple businesses and I'm trying to get them all kind of at the same time. I'm nurturing them all, going against all the rules, right? Because I'm a rule breaker a little bit sometimes. So I'm trying to get them, nurturing them all at the same time, right? And so as that grows, before it started growing, that was all that was on my mind. Was this is the bottleneck for every single business. Every business is doing great. Every business is healthy. Every business isn't scaling because of me, right? This is a problem, right? And so now I don't have that worry at all. And so I'm able to focus on the bigger picture. I'm able to focus on the business instead of in the business. I'm no longer worried about whether I'm going to be able to contact my customers. I'm no longer worried about whether we're going to be able to keep in communications and my systems are in place. I can just worry about providing what I provide best, right? And using my time for the highest and best use.
So let me ask you this futuristic question. How do you see technology evolving the way we use CRMs to build wealth in the coming years?
You know, I think people are going to people are already getting used to the CRMs. They're getting used to emails. Emails, I like to say email is dead because it just isn't working anymore. Because when AI first came out and everybody got fancy emails and stuff, they caught their eye. Now everything's fancy and has icons and all this stuff. And so it really isn't that way. And so I really think that the way CRM is going to change and the way that society is changing is it's no longer an SEO world, it's an MTO world, right? So it's no longer search engine optimization, it's modification through optimization, right? And we see it in Netflix, we see it in Amazon, right? They are perceptive enough to figure out what you want to buy before you want to buy it. And if you don't want to buy it, they're still going to convince you through the ads that they know work on you. This is going to become very, very prevalent. And I believe there's going to be a lot of legislation around it to stop the mind hacking that is available. I mean, it's been on forever. So will it work? No. But I see that there will be legislation that comes in place because of the abilities of these CRMs and the ability to clone voices and all of that. I believe that we're going to have a lot of legislation to come out.
As to, I love it how you said modification to optimization. I mean, isn't that always the case, right? We try to kind of upgrade ourselves or kind of, what do you say, optimize or get to the optimal use of our mind and our systems and everything around us. Like we were talking earlier before the recording, you were saying that, how you get to a certain level, then all of a sudden you feel like you're at the comfort zone again. So it's like it's a time to challenge again. So the way I see it, our life, our business, or anything, or the system that we're putting in place, is kind of a 80-20 rule. And I'm going to take the analogy over here. Like, we are like in a video game, basically, right? So the level is so hard. And then we keep on playing after a while, and then you're first in the 80%, and then you get to the 20%. And when you get to the top percent, when you ace it, it's time to go to the next level again. So when you go to the next level, you are again into the 80%, right? That's just like kind of known environment. So then you're going to challenge yourself again, and then you're going to strive for the top 20%. So isn't that the way all the system optimization and like you say, modification to optimization works, right? To get better and better from the scalability as well as sustainability perspective. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think you hit it right on the head, Nikki. I think that you can't help but get better with all of the technology that's coming out. If you just open your eyes, even if you're a non-grower, you're going to grow, which is what I think that's beautiful about this technology is it actually leads you to growth, where it didn't used to be that way. It used to be you had to seek growth to get growth, right? Now growth seeks you out. It says, "Oh, well, you've never been to the theater. We need to give you a theater thing, and then maybe you'll go and oh, you clicked on it. So let me give you more information about the theater, and maybe you'll be interested in the theater, and you'll come to the theater." That is a big beauty of what we're doing. And the 80-20 rule, I love how you talk about the 80-20 rule. I just spoke about this on my in my founder syndicate this morning. We were talking about the 80-20 rule in that in order to really spur growth and scale, you need to change 80% of what you're doing. And I talked about it. It came from a book, and I can't think of the title right now. It's terrible, but anyway, the 80-20 rule. And the analogy the book uses is that when you graduate high school and you go to college, you change about 80% of your friends, the natural big growth in your life, right? And you change about 80% of what you do and about 80% of your friends. Leave about 20. When you graduate college and go into business, the same thing happens. And then typically when you have children, something very similar happens, right? And you get these big growth spurts in our life that are very natural. So we can do those on our own. All we have to do is change 80% of what we're doing, right? And therein lies the hard part, right? Is how do we change 80% of what we're doing? And this is where modification through optimization can help, because if we don't notice we're modifying and we don't notice, then it's easy, right? And that is what I think is really the one of the hidden gems of AI and ChatGPT and the advent of agentic agents to be able to help our human employees.
Yeah, I was thinking the other way around, like you do 20%, then 80% rice on it anyways. But what's next for you? What do you see in your crystal ball?
Well, right now, everything is growing as I had hoped, as I was watering all of my separate ventures. They are all starting to sprout at the same time. So I've got a subdivision of 9 homes coming online, ready to go vertical in the next month. I've got a subdivision of 17. We've got a bunch of commercial real estate holdings that we're getting ready to start underground and actually start moving forward on. And that is as well with my tech company. So personally, I see a lot of travel in my future and a lot of masterminds and boardrooms and different types of events where I can share the word about what we're doing here with our investment group and how the Now It's Done boss system is helping the developers that I'm with here increase their profits and increase profits to investors. So that's what's next for me, is a lot more of the same.
That's good. So this brings us to our rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 5 questions very quickly, and then you're going to answer it in 1 word or 1 sentence only. Are you ready?
Sure.
The first question is, first system or tool you ever used to organize your business?
QuickBooks.
A habit you lean on daily to stay sharp?
I review my goals multiple times.
Coffee, tea, or something else entirely?
I'm a coffee person in the morning and then water in the afternoon and milk.
Great. 1 investment you will never forget.
Oh my goodness. That I will never forget my investment in my first RV park. That is one that will go down in the books.
Great. So 1 word to describe your wealth vibe.
Smile.
I like that. Oh gosh. You won't lose even 1 chance to advertise yourself. I love it, George.
I do like to smile.
That's true. I like it too. I love this conversation. It was such a refreshing. So how can people reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at tide360.ai. They can reach out to me at nowitsdone.com. They can reach me on Instagram at george.knowlton. That's a great way to do it, is direct message me on Instagram. And they can also reach me at, hold on 1 second. I have a new number. I have to give it to you. 1-865-420-3663. So that's 1-865-420-3663. Call that number. You can set up a calendar appointment with me or do whatever you need to do. And you can learn a little bit about my construction company and what else we do.
Thank you so much, George. And to our audience, remember this. True wealth is not only what you own, it's what you organize, track, and sustain. So stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep building your wealth vibe. We'll see you next time with another awesome guest. Thank you, George.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wealth Vibe Show. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget your free gift. Download the Busy Professional's Guide to Real Estate Investing at loombainvest.com. See you next time with another amazing guest and another powerful conversation.